everyone, how's it going? I'm Gary, or the Super Extraordinary here, and welcome to another video. This is going to be another video of my top 10 favorite duels of a different Yu-Gi-Oh series, and as you can tell by the title down there below, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL. Now, on the contrary to popular belief, Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL, at least for me, isn't as bad as so many people think it is. It is one of my least favorite series, but I honestly do find some enjoyment in it, or at least in the last half of it. But ZEXAL overall did have a few good duels, and I'm just here to count down my top 10 favorites. So without further delay, let's jump right into it. My top 10 favorite duels of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL. Number 10, Yugioh vs. Alito during the Baryon Onslaught arc. Well, their second match, really. After having a gag episode of them quote-unquote fighting over Kotori, they finally have a real match, and it was actually really fun to watch. It didn't really feel like a malicious match where the loser is gonna die like their next two duels. It feels more like a fun rivalry match where nothing is at stake, but just them having fun. And you can tell that both duels were having fun in the midst of this duel. A lot of good plays were made. Alito's Burning Knuckler or Battling Boxer deck is amazing. I believe it was a top tier TCG deck a few years ago. It's a simple duel. It's just them having a really somewhat of a rivalry match, or just a fun duel. Because Alito wants to get Yuma's numbers as part of his Baryon missions, but he has fun dueling Yuma, and that's really what he wants most from this duel. To have fun, and Yuma was having just as much fun as he was. A really simple duel, and a good one at that. Number 9, Yuma vs. Vector during the Baryon Onslaught arc. Probably one of the most well-known duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL, if only for the reveal that Rei Shigensu was really Vector, who has to be probably one of the biggest trolls and definitely one of the evilest characters of the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise as a whole. The duel itself isn't at all bad, but it does leave a lot to be desired, and the events of the duel itself, without the gameplay, are really what make it watchable. I do feel like this duel is too long, being 4 episodes, but it's really just Vector trolling Yuma so much that I eventually got tired and bored of it. A lot of people do find that scene to be somewhat amusing, and I will admit, it was mildly funny the first few minutes, but after it drags on so much, I just can't help but think, okay, now you can stop trolling Yuma and just get back to the duel. That's really what I'm here for. Really, the new ZEXAL mode and Utopia monsters are really the only truly noteworthy things about this duel, in my honest opinion at least. It's a little... Number 7, Yuma vs. Astral, final duel of ZEXAL. Now, as if ZEXAL wasn't always enough ripoff of the original series, now we come full circle with Yuma facing off with his own saving grace in the finale of ZEXAL, much like Yugi and Yama Yugi. And while I don't think this is a better duel, it's still a very entertaining one. Now that the Baryon Onslaught is over, the only thing remains is what to do with the Baryon world. Astral votes on destroying it, while Yuma votes against it. And with this being Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's only one way to decide that. We're gonna duel to see who decides the fate of the Baryon world. This duel really is the ultimate way of showing Yuma's growth and how far he's come along since the beginning of the series, starting out as a very terrible duelist who made basic mistakes, into being able to take on the much more skilled Astral with all of the numbers at his disposal. Despite being able to destroy those numbers and in the end defeat Astral, showing how far he's become, it was a bittersweet ending for Yuma to defeat Astral but at the same time send him away. Number 7, Nash vs. Quattro, or 4 in the Japanese dub. The true beginning of the Baryon Onslaught arc, with Shark accepting the fact that he is the Baryon leader Nash, and while trying to focus on getting rid of the bigger threat Yuma out of the way first, he decides to start with Quattro, and this duel is an emotional one. Quattro isn't trying to defeat Nash, the leader of the Baryon Onslaught, and try to stop it, but rather trying to help his friend Shark to convince him to drop the Baryon gimmick and go back to being Ryoga Kimisharamo. Meanwhile, Nash knows he's fighting a friend, but decides to throw that away to become a quote-unquote true Baryon. And after defeating Quattro, you see that he clearly isn't happy with what he's just done, but accepts it as something that had to be done. Number 6, Yuma vs. Kaito, round 3 after the World Duel Carnival. Being completely honest, out of all of Yu-Gi-Oh's rivalries, Kaito and Yuma's is probably one of my least favorites, but this match of theirs is definitely an entertaining one. Dr. Faker has just been defeated, the World Duel Carnival is over, and after winning the whole thing, Yuma's wish is to fight Kaito one more time. And now, there's nothing at stake, and the two can enjoy a friendly match to settle the score. After Kaito cancels their first duel right before defeating Yuma and still making their second, these two can finally go all out with no worries. The duel had really great moves with Kaito sweating a bit and escaping from some really close calls, and Yuma showing how much he's improved being able to take it to Kaito after pretty much being dominated by him in the last two matches. But in the end, it's a vain effort as Yuma is defeated by Kaito. And Yuma never defeats Kaito throughout ZEXAL because he's Kaito. He's always going to be the best in ZEXAL. Number 5, Yuma and Nash vs. Don 1000. The duel with the mandatory broken villain of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL. Compared to what we've seen from the past with Darkness or Calco's monsters, Nitro really wasn't that broken. Zone with Time Lords who can do essentially anything they wanted, and now we have Donnie 2 who can activate cards from his deck, write his opponents to be whatever cards he wants them to play, and he has monsters that double in attack every time one of his other monsters attack. Now, please tell me, how in the good name of is that even fair? It really doesn't get any worse than that. Regardless, we have an interesting duel with Donnie T bringing out cards that have a 10,000 attack, even going up to 100,000 attack that forces his opponents to attack, otherwise they automatically lose. But with the teamwork of Super Saiyan 3 Yuma and Nash, along with the Ghost of Kaito, they can survive and bring down 9,000. And that's what I love most about this duel. Even though Yuma and Nash at this point in the stories are enemies, Yuma and Sharp are still best friends and they still have amazing teamwork together. And with the Ghost of Kaito, it's essentially all three of them bringing down Don 1000. Number 4, Mirag and Durabay vs. Vector. After waiting who knows how long, Vector finally makes his move and makes his intentions known to kill Yuma and Ashel and then destroy the Ashel world, even though we already knew that. But before he does that, he has to absorb the power of the other Emperors, and the first on his hit list are Durabay and Mirag. With Nash being forced to watch, we're treated to the Battle Royale style duel that really shows how good the Baryon arc of ZEXAL was. Here we have Vector who double-crossed and trolled Yuma like crazy about a dozen, maybe a few dozen episodes earlier, and now he's going after his fellow Emperors and repeatedly attacking Mirag out of both pure hatred and pure spite, and explaining his reasoning for his motives. Mirag and Durabay have good teamwork together, and at a certain point I actually thought they would have pulled off a victory against Vector, which just made it all the more heartbreaking when you see them both defeated one after another, and the pure terror in Mirag's voice and on her face when she realizes she's about to be defeated, which is truly a heartbreaking thing when both Durabay and Mirag die. I actually felt as if I would tear up a little bit. It just made me want to see Nash taking on Vector and defeating him all the more, and thank Number 3, Kaito vs. ZEXAL on the Moon. A somewhat anticipated match to determine who's the true Galaxy Eyes master between Kaito, wielder of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and ZEXAL, wielder of Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. The duel is probably one of the best settings of any duel in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. I mean, a duel on the moon? Very few places can top that. But we have good plays and moves from both sides coming head to head with Kaito creating his own number 2 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon to defeat ZEXAL, and this duel doesn't come without its cost. After defeating ZEXAL, Kaito admits that ZEXAL is a better dragon tamer, and after his spacesuit was so badly damaged in the duel, Kaito dies not too long afterwards from lack of oxygen. And really, this is only one of 2 moments in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise that actually jerked tears from me. The other was the ending of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. A sad ending to a great duel. Why is it always my favorite character that has to die? Number 2, Nash vs. Vector. A battle between 2 beings who are enemies even in their past lives. After Vector defeated, killed, and absorbed Mirag and Durabay, as well as Elito and Girag, Nash decides to challenge Vector to avenge the other Emperors. And I don't know what made this duel as good as it was. I mean, the backstory was amazing. Vector's own backstory is good fun to watch. The action of the duel itself, or all of the above, more than likely all of the above. The backstory between Nash and Vector explaining why they hate each other so much is a good one. As I said, Vector's backstory was an interesting one explaining why he's so damn evil, but later it showed he's evil just for the sake of being evil. And the action of the duel itself was really good with a lot of back and forth action, and Nash defeating Vector in the end was a good payoff to see a character like Vector finally get put in his place. Before I unveil my number 1 position, I want to go over some honorable mentions. A few duels from ZEXAL that I like, but just didn't make the list. Number 1, Yuma vs. Nash, the second to last duel of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL that will determine the fate of the Barian, Astral, and Human world. With the defeat of Dawn 1000, Nash has just inherited his power and seeks to finish the mission he has in store since the realization of being a Barian, and that's protecting the Barian world by any means necessary. And after making it clear to the other Barian Emperors that Yuma is off limits, they have their much-awaited showdown, and it was a welcome duel for many reasons. Yuma and Shark have had a rivalry established all the way back into the first episode of ZEXAL, and while they have had plenty of matches since then, and before their final bout, over time Shark became more of the right-hand man of sorts to Yuma rather than his rival, while Kaito took up the mantle of being Yuma's rival. Similar to Yugi and Joey, with them being best friends, and Yugi and Kaiba with them being rivals. The final duel of the Barian War, it would have to be a spectacular one, both storyline-wise and action-wise, and it really delivered in both departments. The action of the duel was utterly fantastic. Yuma and Nash go back and forth with these unbelievably long combos, using their Barian and ZEXAL powers, a new Utopia monster, a new never-before-seen Barian monster. That is the polar opposite of Utopia of sorts, which is ironic because both names are kind of the same. Utopia, King of Wishes, Barian, King of Aspirations. Kind of the same. One of the things I love is how this duel was all Yuma. Yuma was in the driver's seat the entire time. Astral didn't tell Yuma to do a single thing, aside from recommending they use ZEXAL. Otherwise, this was Yuma fighting Nash with his own developed dueling skills. I even love the end where Yuma defeated Nash entirely by accident. The story of this duel was a true selling point, with Nash being the only Barian Emperor left at this point, and he isn't fighting Yuma to settle things once and for all, or to kill him or any type of malicious or selfish reason like that, but rather to carry on the hopes and dreams of the other Barian Emperors, and Yuma is in the way of that. Barian King of Aspirations is the combined power of all 7 Barian Emperors, and each overlay unit it had represented all 7 of them, and Yuma even noticed Nash was willing to pay his own life points, give up his own life, instead of using one of the Barian King of Aspirations' overlay units. Because again, not rather than use its own abilities by using its overlay units, because each overlay unit represented the soul of all 7 Emperors, and he didn't want to give those up. Also, I can't help but ask, where the hell did Nash get all these Barian cards in his duel with Yuma? I mean, Nash was essentially using the same deck he did in the entire series after Barian King of Aspiration was destroyed, but before that, he was using cards specifically meant to support his Barian cards. Why didn't he use these cards against Dawn 1000? But the ending of the duel was excellent, with Nash essentially killing himself after taking in Yuma's speech of their bond and acknowledged Yuma is his best friend before dying. This was a truly amazing duel that was a fitting end to one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Arcs we've gotten so far. Truth be told, Yuma vs. Nash is one of my favorite duels of the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in general. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. And there you have it, folks. Those are my top 10 favorite duels of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL. If you like ZEXAL, what are your favorite duels? Comment down there below and let me know. I'm Gary, or the Shape-Base 31 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Stay gold, everyone.